I kept getting to the final interview and then falling off a cliff 4 times, and I couldn't work out why. Each one was the same shape. Great first interview, great second, a third where they were basically telling me the start date, and then nothing. A week of silence, then a careful phone call from a recruiter who suddenly couldn't quite look me in the eye, even down a phone line. The 4th time I pushed. "Please, sir," I said to the recruiter, just tell me what changed. I was so close." A long pause. "Look, I really shouldn't say this," she said quietly. "But there was something in a reference. That's all I can tell you. I'm sorry. A reference. I thought about it for 3 days, 4 final interviews, 4 rejections, and the only thing that happened between the last interview and every no was the reference check. So I did something I didn't know I was allowed to do until I looked it up. I sent a formal request to my old employer, asking for a copy of every reference they'd given out about me in the last 12 months. They have to give you that. Most people never ask. The document arrived a week later. I opened it standing up in my kitchen, and then I sat down on the floor because my legs stopped working properly. The reference was from Catherine, my manager of 4 years, the woman I'd covered for when she vanished for 6 months and nobody would tell me why. The woman who, at my leaving drinks, stood up in front of 30 people and said I was one of the best people I've ever had the pleasure of managing. The reference said I struggled with authority, that I found collaboration difficult, that I had a tendency to undermine colleagues, that she'd have real reservations recommending them for a role managing upwards. None of it was true. None of it had ever been said to me. None of it was in a single one of my performance reviews. She'd smiled at my leaving drinks, and then she'd spent 8 months making sure I never worked again. I sat on that kitchen floor for a long time, and then I got up and I got to work. My sister Jess had been through something like this 3 years earlier. She'd handled it the way most people do. Rang the person, screamed down the phone, said things she couldn't take back, and got exactly nowhere. 2 years on, she still thinks about it. "Don't call her," she said, before I'd even finished the story. "I know." "Don't email her either." "I know." "So what are you going to do?" I told her. She went quiet. "That's very calm," she said. It didn't feel calm. It felt like the only thing that would actually work. I stopped being angry and I started building a file. 4 years of performance reviews. Every single one positive. I printed them all. An email from Catherine's own director, from when I'd covered her absence, calling my work exceptional. My own notes from one-to-ones, dated specific, where Catherine had praised me to my face. And then the timeline. 4 jobs, 4 final stages, 4 rejections, each one landing days after the reference went in. Laid out side by side, it wasn't a run of bad luck. It was a pattern. It was sabotage with a date stamp. Then I took all of it to an employment solicitor. She read it once, slowly, then she looked up. "A reference has to be true, accurate and fair," she said. "This is none of those things, and you can show real financial loss because of it. This is very actionable." We sent a formal letter to the HR director, not to Catherine, to the people who'd have to answer for her. It set out everything. The reference, the lies, the documented truth, the 8 months of lost income. And it gave them 14 days to respond. They didn't take 14. They took 6. The reply came from their legal team, which told me everything I needed to know about how seriously they were taking it. They didn't admit fault. They never do in the first letter, but the offer underneath the careful legal language said it all. A financial settlement, a corrected reference, to be sent to anyone I named from then on, and a written commitment that Catherine would never again have anything to do with a reference about me. I thought about it for 2 days. Then I signed. The settlement covered a big chunk of the income. I'd lost to 8 months of rejections that were rigged before I ever walked in the room. It wasn't everything. It was enough. The corrected reference arrived 2 weeks later. Factual, accurate, warm even. It described my actual job, my actual record, and called me a valued member of the team, which is what I had always been, until she decided otherwise. I had a job offer within 3 months. Catherine is still there. I know this because a mutual contact mentioned my name near her at an industry event a while back, and apparently she suddenly remembered somewhere else she needed to be and left the room. I didn't celebrate that, but I did note it. Here's the thing nobody tells you. A bad reference can quietly end your career, and you might never even know it's happening. The person doing it is counting on you not looking. So look, you are allowed to ask what's being said about you. Ask, has someone ever smiled to your face while working against you behind your back? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more complete stories with no part 2s that never come, follow the page. New story every day.